Hey everyone, here's a full overview of what's going on with this particular project. You're going to open the link in a new tab so you have the ability to download this folder of things. This is going to be the file for Sweet Home that you'll work with, and I want you to see this specifically because it's got a neat tool that you can see this power of. So I went and downloaded just a picture from the website of a apartment complex that I used to live in. This is actually my old rental in Toms River, and what I was able to do, if you look carefully, I'm going to actually grab how the picture went in, where the picture went in. I'm not going to modify it unless maybe and modify background image. There's not many controls in here, but what I did was I knew that this room here was 10 by 10, and what you can do when you're first bringing the image of a floor plan like this into the software, you can drag a line over a section and tell the program how many inches that line is in real life. So I said it was 122 inches for this wall length right here, and when I finished that process, it put the whole apartment in at the size of the apartment and changed the quality of the background photo so it still works in the software. You can see it's 45 feet long. And then, yeah, your measurements are important when you're doing something like this, because if you're putting anything like bedroom furniture in, and if your room is ginormous, the bed is going to look ridiculous. If the room is too small, the bed won't fit. That kind of a scenario is important to pay attention to. So, they put measurements in rooms for a reason, and you wouldn't have a second bedroom, like bedroom number 2, you wouldn't have a king bed in there. You might have one in a master bedroom, but you can see all that stuff could be modified and changed as you go. But the dimension that you start with to be able to work on a project, you have to know what you're starting with. I see a lot of people just free drawing walls, and it's fun to do, but you don't know what you're dealing with size-wise, which means all of this stuff won't really fit properly in your design if you just free draw. That means when you start off working on a project like this, I want you to actually create the space. So you're going to, first of all, zoom in, and you're going to work one room at a time. You're going to start off with putting in walls, which if you look for this hand tool, the first 2 tools to the right of that are where you're starting off the walls, and then floors. So what you'll do is try and center up over the wall indicators here. Drag right through, don't stop and start again when you see those openings. They just represent doors, but you're going to want to build it like this. You complete each room separately. You'll start to see, if you're zoomed in and careful about it, indicator lines that say, all right, I'm at the same height as this over here. So you'll see a stop, auto stop, means click one more time, and then you'll see an indicator that completes the wall again if you're zoomed properly. So, and then it's going to want to keep drawing a wall. You're going to hit escape to stop that continuing wall situation going on. And if I pull this split up, you can see that I started to get that space. So if you press the mouse wheel down and click on it as a button and drag up and down, you can zoom much faster in the program. Right clicking is going to give you the ability to tumble this thing around and see it better. And so we just have walls but no floor. Floor tool right next to the wall tool. Click. And if you have like an 8-sided room, you can just click around the corners as this happens. We'll see in a minute here. You just click 2 points, it's going to pull a straight line, and then it'll just start drawing whatever polygon you're trying to deal with. You're going to try and hang tight to the center of the walls to make your life easier here. So that last click, it's still going to want to continue on. Escape is going to stop that again. That's going to complete a room, and right now I still have this button clicked down. I need to click the arrow pointer, so I can select the room. Now that I have a room, I can select it, right click on it, and modify it. And you'll see this menu come up. Floor and wall sides around the room. There is a way to right click on the rooms and recolor the walls, all that, but that's a lot more complicated than doing it room by room. So again, after you complete a room, you can do all your rooms and go back to this, but you want to do it carefully room by room like this, so you can then just click on the selection tool, click on the room, then right click it so you can modify the whole thing at once. I'm going to use a texture, put in a wooden floor, and I'm going to do another texture on the wall and do something lighter so you can see it. And you can see recent textures. Also, you have a go-to menu for the ones that you've just used so you can find them easy. And this is a neat option. Baseboards, wooden strips around the bottom of your rooms. If you hit that and color, like these are some standard go-tos. Most of your baseboards are just going to be like a pure white. And you can see the entire thing is done in one shot. If I pull this up, you've got decorated room with all of the baseboard work done for you, and that flooring is terrible. Wood is good, but that particular one is not. Let's do something darker so it's easy to see. So it's neat to play with. If you're not great with colors, don't worry about it. Just don't use extremes. Primary colors, like if you went in here and just did modify rooms, for example, and picked a color instead of a texture, you can pick from the gradients here, but it gets a little bright and crazy when you can start playing with that stuff, so I usually leave it on textures. And then what else? We got a door to put in. So I'll close this menu. It's important to close each menu that you're not in, because then they get really long and you're scrolling up and down trying to find stuff. It's not fun. Doors, if we take a door and drag it now into where that space is, you can see that door is too big right now. It's fine. We're going to change the size of it. Your top left is your rotation for objects, and the bottom right is going to be, oh, look at that, it flipped it around on me. If I go over here, like this is rotate, this is the resizing, so I can pull that door in and adjust the door size to match what's on the blueprint pretty easily. So these controls are important. You can right click on a door, and also there's modify furniture, and then there's a mirror option. Mirrored shape will flip it anything in the other direction. So if you want the same object mirrored in two of something, you can make a copy of an object and then mirror it, and it would swing the door in the other direction. But that's doors, and why you draw walls straight through and then just drop a door in afterwards. So it looks a little bit funky, and you don't have to keep everything exactly the way the floor plan is. It's just to be able to follow it and work with things in a more precise way versus just free forming and seeing how floor plans are laid out and why room sizes are what they are. You can see the measurements of the room sizes and working with open source software that we've modified and customized to meet our needs. So this is a project, a process. You're going to just keep going with creating walls and rooms. You can add to existing walls. You don't have to create a whole nother wall. You'll get these dotted indicators. They really help a lot. So if you've created a wall at one place in space, you can use it and align to and match up. So if I hit escape, it didn't work. Go over here, start here, and draw. And escape is going to end that, and then Create room. This is actually called create room. It's not really floor like I've been saying, but it just makes more sense when you hear it that way. Hit escape to finish that floor, and what that does again is you go back over to the black arrow, select the floor, right click on it, modify the room, and then you can rebuild. And again, you can use, if you want to match the colors, it's easy because you can click on the same couple of ones that you used and repeat the process. So if you do want to have matching colors and floors and stuff, you can still do that, but often you don't want to just put in like one big room to cover the entire area. Otherwise, you're not going to have that easy control over setting up the way you want it to look. I forgot to click add baseboard. So it's relatively straightforward. If you don't know what this stuff means in the plan, practically you'll figure it out. But dryer, washer, heating and air conditioning, hot water heater, fridge, stove, dishwasher, pantry, closet. It's pretty straightforward terminology as far as what all of the information is telling you here. Yeah, but rebuild the space. Make it your own, have some fun with it. By the end of the period, no matter where you're at, I'm going to want you to create a photo and render the thing so you can send me a PNG of the object. You're going to have to increase the size of this in some cases to make it big enough. What's going on? Portions. It's because this whole window has got to be where you want it to be. So you zoom, sorry about that, I wasn't paying attention to the bottom. You zoom in to what you have going on with your design before you create photo. Change the sizes of this, let's see. You might have to toy around with measurements and making it high enough and wide enough to actually create a photo. So you save, you should go into your documents. If you haven't done so already, create a Sweet Home. Too many things. So you can create a new folder here, call it Sweet Home Multimedia, and then put your last name on there and have a smart save location. Open that up. 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, so after that save is done, this is going to be converted from an object with all of this different information going on and in 3D form to a 2-dimensional PNG photo. So you can have it saved and share it, and then it should be a higher quality image depending on your settings. You should be able to see that easy enough. Let you deal with finding it in your save locations because I have too many documents that I'm dealing with. But yeah, you'll end up with a standard file like this. If you don't increase the size of it or change the quality of it, it's not going to be a high quality save at all. But if you go too high on it, it's going to take an eternity to save it. For whatever you guys choose to save it as, I'll be okay with whatever quality I see it. And if it's tiny, that's normal, so don't worry about it. You just have to be able to attach this to the classroom post where you found the assignment posted. So if you're doing the desk or if you're doing the house, apartment, whatever living space you want to call this, you're just going to have an image rendered and saved so you can post it where you found it. You guys are going to have to click the attach button and upload the file. So you're going to have to go into your documents where you saved it, hopefully in a Sweet Home folder, and attach it and send it that way, so I can see your work, grade you guys, and then you know what's going on in terms of rendering and creating files from 3D architecture software now. It's good stuff. Talk to you guys soon.